And joining me tonight for Newsnight is Professor Maggie Kigozi. She has got a very lengthy CV in the business world and several other things, but tonight we will probably call her an ambassador for peace. She's part of the Women's Situation Room. Good evening, Professor.
Good evening, Joel.
You and a couple of other women have been and are still involved in trying to see that you negotiate peace. You have visited Dr. Kizza Besigye, you have visited His Excellency the President. I know that you are being cagey on the details of what you talked about, etc., and maybe understandably so, because you know you're trying to keep it together before things get out of hand. But what can you tell us? What was the essence for the need for this meeting, and what came out of these meetings?
The Women's Situation Room is a room that was put in place following the issue of the wars in Liberia, on the election where Ellen Sirleaf was brought into power, and has since then been working in all countries where there are elections. And so it's been everywhere, and this year's time it is in Uganda. It works through finding some eminent women that people listen to, that have influence. So in Uganda we have 10 eminent women, including Justice Sebutinde, Justice Maito, Elizabeth Ruwanga, so very eminent women. We have eminent women from Africa. So from Liberia, the brains behind this, the one who started it, is here, Madame Yvette Cheron, and we had from Kenya, Nigeria, and other countries.
So, and again, like we were saying, part of this was eventually these meetings. People are interested to know, I don't know to what extent, but what can you tell people out there about the meetings you held with Dr. Kizza Besigye and President Yoweri Museveni? What did you talk about? The bit you can share with us.
All right, we've had meetings with everyone, with all the leaders in all the parties since we were in place. And our message is always the same. What we want is peace. In any country when there's violence, it is us, the women, who suffer most. The men are fighting, then they run away to other countries, and we are left to face the rape and the hunger and being displaced with our children. So we really are here to prevent any kind of violence. And yes, we have, of course, we work through dialogue. We do not carry the gun. We work through dialogue. So that's the way we've still been trying to work, to meet everyone, find out what their problems are. We have been listening to issues. We have a whole team out there looking at the issues that people are raising in the election and trying to sort them out using, of course, the same channels. We use the Electoral Commission, we use the police, we use the army to sort out whatever issues people are facing.
Do you feel there is progress with these talks? Because each time we hear these politicians and look, it's from both sides.
Yes.
They are vitriolic, they're very corrosive in what they say towards each other and that kind of thing. Do you feel there's progress in what you're doing?
We work at a very low level. We work at a very personal level. We do not work on pedestals. We do not work on television, which is why I told you right from the word go that our work is between us and the people we go to visit. We do not share it. You will see the benefits and the results going forward, but we need to show that we are responsible. We are not about talking about whatever issues we've discussed with the various people in this election.
Is there some kind of ripple effect, trickle-down effect, if you like, to the supporters? I don't know if you are on social media. I'm sure you are. Twitter, Facebook, and the like, people are angry, and you really see it in what they say, in what they write. They're really livid, and I'm thinking, how are we reaching out to these? Because these are the Ugandans. Well, you cannot say majority Ugandans, but it's a formidable number, I would like to think. So they're out there pouring out their anger and the like, and many of them are itching to do something. How are we reaching out to
It's a great thing that we have in Uganda, that free media. I can sit here and say anything about anyone, and it's okay. And I can go onto social media and say whatever I want about anyone and abuse. I'm sure following this discussion I'm going to get a lot of vitriolic tweets about the fact that I didn't stand here and support, and it's from both sides. It depends on which candidate you're on. So I should have come here, according to some people, and say that was terrible, and you know, this one is wrong. And also, if it's according to the other one, I should. So either way, I am not winning. I am losing because my view is let's be peaceful. We are a young democracy. We are a young democracy, and we are developing as we go along. The economy has been growing. There are some things that are very, very positive about Uganda, and we cannot afford to lose that.
Some people, Professor, say that, yeah, the likes of the US 200-year democracies and they still have challenges, but some again feel it's an exculpation, an excuse by those that will say, we are a young democracy, and so some of these challenges are probably understandable and so on. They'll look at some glaring errors that occurred with our electoral process, and they're thinking, wait a minute, yes, we are a young democracy, but this is inexcusable, this is unacceptable, and that kind of thing.
Yes, of course, there are some, I mean, like the late delivery of materials is a very difficult one to understand. But on the other hand, we can also see that the exercise is huge. When you look at the number of polling stations they are, and trying to get so many millions of people to vote efficiently. So the exercise itself is a challenge, not only for us. It seems to even be a challenge in America and in other countries. Technology notwithstanding, we brought in technology, and yes, maybe it's been a lot better, but it's still not perfect. So yes, we need to give and take here and there. There have been weaknesses. We tried to solve a number of the problems that arose through our situation room. We have a mechanism for actually solving problems. So we did that. We tried to do that, and with some good successes in some areas. So yes, there were problems. Yes, our job is to work quietly and to try to see that our nation continues to move on peacefully. There's no place where violence is the solution. Violence is not the solution. So I know a lot of work was done in very short term. So my advice to parties and to those interested in planning to go into politics is clearly tomorrow is the day to start. If I'm thinking of standing for any position, I start now. Getting
talk about
my support
in 2021, and we need to wrap this up. Somebody wrote an article, I don't know if you came across it, in one of the dailies, a controversial article asking, should we even be having elections in Africa, and for that matter Uganda? And their reasoning, when you read, is that after an election there's anger, there's, you know, people get livid and all this confusion and the fear for violence, and then, you know, the good women, eminent women like yourselves have to come in to try and, you know, quell the fires and that kind of thing. And some people are thinking, wait a minute, why the hassle? Our economy actually gets to plunge quite a bit. In 2011 it was the case, and economists are predicting that you know, our economy is going to take a beating because of these elections. So the economy is affected, politics gets affected, our emotions get affected, and some people are thinking, wait a minute, why do we even have to go through this? Some other countries don't go through the rigor we do. And so that was the article this person wrote. What do you make of that?
Yes, I read it, and I think although one might think he has some points, but it is absolutely key that we do move forward in our striving for democracy. It is absolutely key that we elect our leaders. And I think what we need to understand as Ugandans is the majority does win. That is one thing we have refused to accept.
They will tell you that actually we, the majority, are the ones that lost.
That lost,
the other ones,
somebody rigged, and you know. So at some point, we will have to understand that there's always a loser, and it may be your favorite person, unfortunately. And when that happens, you will live with it, and you plan for the next election, 2021. So yes, there's no way we can move away from our path towards democracy. There are some things that could be done in the next 5 years to actually make a huge difference, and we hope that happens.
All right, Professor Maggie Kigozi, thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you, Joe.
And let's keep pushing for peace.
All right, we will.
And that is tonight's edition of Newsnight.